Hi everyone, welcome to the latest edition of the Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Wes McKinney, here today with head football coach Paul Price as we continue our spring preview series. And coach, this is your first spring as head coach here at Concord. What's your overall, goals, outlook for this spring?
It's a lot about fundamentals with us, Wes. We're trying to establish work habits. We're trying to install basically a new offense, bring a lot of new people onto the defense and get them tuned up. So everything's anew. Literally, every coach we have is even though they may not be new, they're assuming a new role. We have several new coaches, and again, I preach to the players that their role is going to be different this year, no matter who they were, and where they came from. So we feel pretty good about the newness of our program and the excitement that comes with that.
Let's start with those coaches, and we'll jump into some players here in just a minute. But you got a new offensive coordinator in Brendan Murphy. You elevated Pat Dawson from assistant defensive coordinator to head defensive coordinator. Brought in two former NFL guys to be your position coaches, Josh Beekman at offensive line and Scott McKillop with the linebackers. Just talk about this staff as a whole, what each one of them bring to the table for you.
Well, it's an interesting group of young men. Brandon Murphy, of course, he's from St. Joe's. He has worked previously with, Dustin Ward, who was a former very successful coordinator here. So I've been familiar with Brandon for the last few years. And, I think that we're going to do, a lot of things the same and hopefully a lot of things that are different. And, his excitement, his production, his professionalism right now is really carrying the offense and making things happen there. Again, Big Josh on our offensive line. He was a former graduate assistant down at FIU, and now he's with us. He's a little old to really have what would be his first full-time job, but he had spent a couple years again in the NFL, and those experiences are just super valuable. The kids really dig it, want to get after it, and know what he knows. And he's just done things on a very high level, and that's a real benefit. Those two guys, both Josh and Murph, work together very well, and that's something. Again, I wanted to get some cohesiveness with this spring, and that without even being on the field for the first time is really you see that happening. And again, Pat Dawson has been with the defense for the last 5 years essentially, and it moved up to coordinator. You might say that, but he's been doing an awful lot of it the last couple of years anyway, and certainly more than ready to assume that role. And Scott McKillop is again, an older guy with maturity, though it's his kind of first full-time football coaching position. He's been at the level kind of like Josh in the NFL for a couple of years, and it comes from Pitt. University of Pittsburgh. He's done a lot of things, especially with special teams, and playing linebacker at that upper level, and coaching it for the last couple of years. We're going to be in good shape there. Myself, I'm going to position coach it, move it to the secondary. So I just figured I needed something, need a little change in my life, Wes, and decided to pursue that end of it. And because Scott was such, we thought a good hire for us at moving. We're going to have to move some pieces around anyway. I moved from the linebackers over, and it's really working out well. That group is we're coming together as a staff very well.
Spring practice starts Wednesday, March 30th, and will run through most of the month of April, culminating with that spring game on April 23rd at Callahan Stadium. Be sure to be on the lookout here over the next couple of weeks for segments and previews with each position coach previewing their particular position group. For the head coach, Paul Price, I'm Wes McKinney, and this has been the Coach's Corner.
Thank you, Wes.